That's awesome. Dream fight if you could have it tomorrow. Who would you fight in your division?
I would fight whoever got the belts in my division. Because a lot of these girls, they don't have like amateur backgrounds and stuff like that.
Right.
They just go straight, in. But
Yeah.
I'm a real boxer. Like I've been doing this for like my whole life. Like I didn't just wake up and just wanted to be a boxer. This is something that I actually worked for. Is in this, and it's coming and it's going to be my time to get them belts up.
It is your time. You've signed.
Yeah.
It's your time now. You're about to bust out as a pro, and you know what? All your fans are going to be super excited when you start banging these girls out.
All right, I'm excited. Also, I can't wait, man.
A pre-pad, like they'll take gauze, they'll wrap it up, and they'll make a pad, and then when they're wrapping the hand, they'll put this pad on there and continue to wrap the hand and create a pad in the knuckle area. That's not how I learned. That's not to say I can't do it, but I didn't learn that way. The way I learned was the way the old timers used to do it, and that was you would build the pad right off of the roll. You remember how I did that with you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right off of the roll. I'm in Cincinnati one year wrapping hands. I was going to say the name of the fighter, and then it slipped my mind. Kid from Cincinnati. I'm wrapping his hands, doing this, and there was this old black guy was walking around. He had a cane and he was walking really slow through the dressing room. He's hunched over and he stopped and he looked at me and he said, "Man, that's old school." And then just kept walking away. And I was like, "Oh, not nice." He recognized it,
I think I was like 15 when I met you.
I think I was like, I want to say like 2012 or 2013 we met. That's going back.
I'm pretty sure before that, to be honest, because I think around that time, my father was already coaching out of other gyms.
It was right at that transition part. I like that. We kind of like crossed ship. We were like ships in the night, just like crossing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. But you were already in the boxing world. Mm-hmm. Like when I met you, like you already had like a lot of experience. So actually I kind of want to rewind a little bit and talk about like, why did you start your journey in boxing in the first place?
And here it is. Boom! With a big right hand on the chin. Woodley goes down with his hands at his side, sleeping. Holy shit. Here it is, guys. Sleeping. Boom.
The heavy bags are different weights. These 4 bags along here, these ones are a little bit heavier. They don't move as much when you're punching them. These ones over here are a little bit lighter. So, and then, the difference is with that, obviously you have to punch harder with the heavier bags, but if you have any shoulder or wrist injuries, it's much easier to hit the lighter ones, just to be safe.
What was that?
Keyshawn Davis from the Olympics. This kid is nice. He won the gold medal, if I'm not mistaken, or he might have got a silver to the Cuban, or one of them. He either got gold or silver. Anyways, he's the first.
I believe it was silver.
Silver at the Olympics. He's a very good boxer, both offense and defense. He's not just a flat-footed brawler, and he also has the style that can translate into the pro game. For a lot of the amateurs, sometimes they might be good amateurs, but they don't really make it in the pro game for some reason. Whether it's they don't have the power or whatever, the right coaches, whatever. But
they stay as an amateur. They stay amateur stuff.
Yes.
And his name is Andy Ruiz Jr. Andy Ruiz Jr. All right. He was born Andres Pons Ruiz Jr. All right. And his nickname, Graham, which is a great nickname. I love all the nicknames are awesome. That's what I think. Anyways, like, Neil the Deal, it's a nickname. They just go on and on and on and on. Andy's nickname is the Destroyer. The Destroyer. Well, I watched a whack load of his fights, and it's a pretty good nickname. This guy is a destroyer.
Elsewhere, it looks like we have a new signing out of Top Rank. Luis Alberto Elvinado Lopez, the fast-rising featherweight from Mexicali, Mexico, has signed a new multi-year promotional contract with Top Rank. The 28-year-old Lopez, who's 24-2 with 13 knockouts, ranked the IBF #1 featherweight contender, broke out from the 126-pound pack in 2021.
If he fight Usyk again, he need to get help with Joshua to make the job easier.
Well, I've got a different theory on that. I think AJ didn't listen to Rob McCracken in that fight.
No, he didn't. He didn't
He
listen to him
jump
at
in with
all.
Usyk and try and outbox him. He's a bigger guy. He should have been leaning on him.
McCracken is an amateur trainer. He's an amateur trainer. I know him. And everybody keeps saying you got to get him somebody like me that no professional that been there.
Yeah.
And then I love McCracken. I love Joshua. I love the boxing game. I love y'all guys. But what gets me frustrated, like he just said, he didn't fight the right fight. Yeah, maybe he didn't. But they need to get somebody to come in. I don't have to be in the corner. Let me just be in the camp and I can show you stuff. So I don't want to get in the corner and be visible to the world. They know I was champ, but I would like to see Joshua win. Bring me in there now. I don't have to be on no camera. Let me show him some stuff. I just want him to win. I like him. But
looking at the first one, looking at loss, I want us to go back to Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roberto Duran. Now, essentially, Sugar Ray Leonard, when he fought him first time, lost his fight. Roberto Duran was putting the pressure on him, really hurt him, and won the fight. Now, what did Sugar Ray Leonard do? Did he go home, just sleep? Sugar Ray Leonard go to sleep and just say, a loss is a loss, and then just sort of put his head in the sand? No. What he had to do is he had to focus. He had to reset himself and set a game plan. So therefore, he was able to adapt it. So the second fight was not like the first fight. And that's when we had the situation which everyone calls the no mass, when Roberto Duran called it a day in the fight. So what did we learn from that? We learned that you had to really just sort of focus. Rather than seeing it as a loss, taking it as a lesson. Draw your game plan to reset things and then work hard moving forward.
It doesn't kill your heart, it doesn't kill your drive, your ambition to get up in the morning to go and train knowing that you don't have a fight or anything. Doesn't it hold you back?
Slightly, but what I enjoy about training at Jody's gym is that every day I'm learning something new. It's not only about footwork, it's not only about movement, it's not only about defense. You learn something new. And you realize what you did wrong previously and you better it. So every day you better yourself. So it's not like you just go to the gym and hit the bag. You learn something. You learn, and especially if the other guy's fighting, we learn their game plan. And by learning their game plan, you also better yourself.
Y bueno, amigos, hasta aquí el programa de hoy de Huracán D con nuestras recomendaciones para esta semana. Y no os perdáis el capítulo de la semana que viene porque muy seguramente vamos a hablar de una de las mejores películas de la historia del boxeo. Y no os voy a decir el título. Lo veréis la semana que viene si queréis.
Given the fact there are two types of concussion, if you will, acute and chronic, affecting short-term and long-term, and not just whether he was knocked unconscious or not. Simply being hit in the head can cause a concussion. And being hit in the head repeatedly with such force as was delivered by Tyson Fury, I would argue he had absolutely suffered a concussion. Now, funnily enough, if you go back through the headlines of a day gone by, a couple of years ago, I'm pretty sure Wilder was saying he had delivered a concussion to Tyson Fury. So who knows what will happen in the future? But I certainly know if Muhammad Ali were alive right now, he'd be telling Deontay Wilder to hang up the gloves while you've still got your sanity, while you can still speak coherently. That's what I would argue. There's a lot of research that I've done here in Toronto relative to a local brain institute, a group of professionals, medical doctors, neurologists who study the impact of injury in sport, specific head injuries, specifically the effects of concussions, and they are altering on many different levels. So when, it raises the question, if I were his advisor or in amongst his team of advisors, I would suggest to Deontay Wilder, hang up the gloves. You've made enough money. You can support your now 6 kids. The daughter that got you into boxing is now taken care of. What more do you have to prove?